Hello everyone, I am back with another video. This one's going to just be like a short little kind of fun fact sort of video. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been doing a few polls on the YouTube community tab for my channel. It got around 300 or so votes overall, probably different people, that would be my best guess, but regardless, 300 votes. And the question that I asked every time was, which movie are you the most excited for? And I would give 4 options at a time, so we have 12 movies to go over, and I'm just going to go in order of like what was least voted and what was the most popular, what most people seem to be looking forward to. So let's get right into it. Tied for last place, we have Longlegs and Garfield for 1.4%. Now there are 2 things to say here. Each poll had a different amount of votes for that thing. Garfield was a part of a poll that had over 100 votes. Longlegs, on the other hand, was part of the most recent one, which is only around 30-something. So do with that information what you will. Regardless, they were still very low voted. Not a lot of people looking forward to the Garfield movie, and also not too many people looking forward to Longlegs. Now, Longlegs, the marketing is a bit creepy. They don't really tell you what the movie's going to be about, but I am kind of on the fence about it. I'm interested, but I'm not super hyped or anything, so I can get why this wasn't voted much. And the Garfield movie, while it's mainly targeted towards kids, the marketing has been pretty decent. Like, big billboards with a like 3D Garfield on it. The Garfield social media accounts are like copying posters for other upcoming movies and, you know, putting Garfield in the center of them. And I think it's fun marketing, and I'm a bit more hyped for the Garfield movie than I was a couple of weeks ago. And for the second lowest, we have another tie, this time a 3-way tie between Inside Out 2, Furiosa, and In a Violent Nature, all with 2.6% of the votes. Now, Furiosa and In a Violent Nature were a part of that poll with like the least amount of voters. So again, do with that information whatever you want. Still not a very high number, definitely not the majority, but they got more votes than Longlegs. Now, Inside Out 2, on the other hand, was a part of the first poll I did, which got over 100, and I'm kind of surprised not that many people voted for Inside Out 2. Again, another movie that's kind of targeted towards kids, but the first Inside Out was pretty decent. I guess most people kind of are like on the fence. They're like, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'm not really too crazy about it or nothing like that. And I'm pretty much the same. If I don't ever see it, I won't be too sad, but I am kind of interested in it. In a Violent Nature, on the other hand, I'm a little sad that it didn't get that much love, but then again, you know, not too many voters for the third poll. I am so ready for this movie. It comes to theaters May 31st. I am going to try my damnedest to be there as soon as the first showtime is listed. I want my tickets stat. It got shown at a film festival, and I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I am so pumped up for it. And speaking of pumped up, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. In the upcoming 2024 movies tier list I posted a couple of weeks ago, I put this in the bottom tier. I was not looking forward to it, didn't really care, didn't have an interest. Furiosa, Mad Max. I have never seen Mad Max Fury Road or any of the Mad Max movies. Don't really care. It's going in no, but I'm not totally against seeing it. But then just a couple nights ago, for the first time, I watched Mad Max Fury Road, and holy shit, the first few minutes I was like, this seems like it's gonna be okay, but that thing got cooking, and now I am kind of pumped for Furiosa. It's a prequel, and prequels can kind of be hit or miss, but Fury Road was so much fun. I can't believe I waited like almost a full decade before I finally watched it. It kicks so much ass. Now we finally don't have a tie for the third lowest because it is The Fall Guy, a movie I'm still excited for. I'm gonna hopefully see it soon. The marketing, fantastic. Not a lot of votes. It was part of the poll that had a good chunk of voters in it. Not too many people chose The Fall Guy, and based on the money it's made in its first weekend in theaters, it seems like in general people weren't too excited for it, which is sort of crazy because looking at all the marketing, seeing the trailers, it looked like a really fun, you know, action-packed, a little bit of romance in there. It looked like a really fun movie. Ryan Gosling's hot right now, Emily Blunt as well. I thought more people were going to go and see this thing, but it didn't do too great for like what feels like a blockbuster movie. Now there obviously is still more time, and I'm sure it'll make an alright amount of money when all is said and done, but it seems like it isn't making as much as I initially thought it would. I'm still hyped to see it. I guess the voters for the poll, you know, weren't in the same boat as I was. And next up, with a slightly higher percentage of votes, we have A Quiet Place Day 1. Again, this was a part of the poll with not too many voters. I can't understand why A Quiet Place Day 1 is slightly lower. It really didn't need a sequel, and it really doesn't need this prequel, but the trailer for it does look pretty good, so my hopes, while not high, I'm not totally against it. It looks pretty good. I still am not sure if I'm actually gonna go watch it or not. Next up is a movie I'm kind of surprised is this low. With 6% of the votes, we have Joker 2. Now, obviously, the poll only captured like 300 people spread out into 3 different sections, so this is probably not accurate in the slightest. I just thought it was a fun little video. But I am really surprised that Joker 2 did not get more votes. I was a little on the fence about it, but then I saw the trailer. I saw Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Joaquin Phoenix obviously still looks like he's doing a pretty decent job. and I'm way more hyped than I was a few months ago. While a year ago I probably wasn't interested in a Joker Part 2 in the slightest, after seeing the trailer, I'm actually kind of excited for it. We're climbing out of the single digits, but we got one more movie to go over. With 8.3% of the votes, we have Despicable Me 4. I'm gonna be real, I'm not excited for this movie in the slightest. I'm sure it'll be alright, but after Despicable Me 3, Minions, nah, I didn't see any of those. Just enough Despicable Me content. I get the kids love it. I get the Minions are haha funny fart jokes and whatnot. It's just not my thing. I'm glad people are excited for it. I was really shocked that this got the amount of votes it did. I honestly thought this was going to be towards the bottom, but since I still am a pretty small channel, it's probably just a super wide spread of people that saw the polls. So you could have some younger audience members or just some people that really enjoy the Despicable Me stuff, and that's totally cool. Me personally, not excited for it. Doubt I'll ever see it, and if I do, I'll probably try to watch the third one first. Now that I'm looking at this pie chart I created, there are only 3 movies with double-digit percentages. Moving on to our first double-digit hitter, we have Deadpool and Wolverine with 12.3%, which again, another shocker. I thought this thing would dominate the poll it was a part of. It got second place in the poll it was a part of, but still, I am very shocked that this wasn't number 1 in that section, or just honestly number 1 overall. I'm extremely hyped for Deadpool and Wolverine. The more pictures and little clips we get from the movie, the more excited I am. I thought, you know, since this poll would reach God knows who, I thought there would be a decent chunk of superhero movie fans and, you know, just Marvel fans in general. And while obviously it does have a lot of interest for it, because it did get 3rd place overall, there's only 2 movies ahead of it, I'm still surprised it only got 12% of the votes. And in second place with 23.1% of the votes, we have Beetlejuice, the second Beetlejuice movie. I thought it would get a decent amount of votes. It's a classic, it's getting a sequel, and not too many people from what I've seen on the internet are like against it having a sequel. And the title, in my opinion at least, is kind of clever, because even if it does just okay in the box office, which who are we kidding, I think this thing's gonna make a bunch of money, they can easily set up a 3rd movie called, you know, Beetlejuice. I haven't seen the first one, but I am definitely gonna check it out soon. It has a great cast. The trailer looked pretty cool. Michael Keaton still has it. Jenna Ortega's in it. Winona Ryder's in it. Willem Dafoe is also going to be in it. I'm pretty excited for the second Beetlejuice movie, and I am kind of happy that it got second place on this ranking. And now a movie that I thought would do okay, but I did not expect it to get number 1. In first place, with 33.7% of the votes overall, we have Alien Romulus, the 5th or 6th, I think, Alien movie. I'm excited for it as a horror movie fan. I like the Alien franchise. A couple of the movies are a bit hit or miss, but overall it's still kind of fun for the most part. The trailer for Alien Romulus looked pretty cool. It looks like we're somewhat going back to basics. There was a video on Twitter that I saw with the remote control face hugger animatronic. It looked really sick and made me even more pumped up for this movie. The poll that it was a part of had the most amount of votes with 162, and it dominated this thing. It was up against Fall Guy, Garfield, and Despicable Me 4. Fall Guy, like I mentioned, I thought was going to do really well. Fall Guy only got 6% of that particular poll. Alien Romulus dominated with 73%. No other movie has dominated the 3 polls that I did like Alien Romulus. The closest thing to it was Beetlejuice, with 155 votes getting 52, you know, over half of the votes, so that's pretty good, but Alien Romulus stole the poll that it was in. I'm excited for it. It's the 45th anniversary of Alien. I believe it just passed. It was in theaters. I was gonna go, but I missed out on it. So I'm excited for this new Alien movie coming out, I think, in like September, sometime in the fall, maybe, I'm not sure. And now here's the full pie chart on the screen. Also, it's not going to be totally accurate based on the votes of each poll, you know, everything wasn't even, but who cares? This is all the info that I've gathered, put on a pie chart. Doesn't that look all sorts of pretty? But that's going to be the end of this video. I just thought it was a fun little experiment to do with the YouTube community polls and whatnot. Maybe I'll do it again. There still are plenty of other movies that are coming out that I can see, you know, who's interested in what. I like seeing what everybody, you know, is interested in. If you want me to do other poll related videos, let me know. That kind of sounds weird out of context, but I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.